Boom, hey internets. Not clickbait. The title of this video is definitely true. And so part of the new content is showing you how I got into this hole. So watch the whole video so you can see where this money was spent, where I go from here, and what adjustments I'm going to make. Bow, Jon Phenom, clothing brand mentor, over 23 years designing apparel and doling out advice for you to get your brand onto the next level. I'm actually really excited to shoot this, which might sound strange given the title and the subject of this entire video, but it is true. Here's the actual number of how much debt I am at the moment of shooting this video for Non-Beta, my clothing brand. Now, here is the quick budget that I use from day one to calculate all these expenses, and just to let you know, a majority of these expenses are spent on blanks. So, Sanmar and Mission Imprintables and also Independent Apparel Co. are where I'm buying a lot of my blanks. That list can expand, but at the moment, Sanmar and Mission Imprintables really has me covered as a third-party apparel buyer where I can buy a lot of different blanks and try out different looks with some of the styles. Now, from transfers to poly bags, items and accessories for the heat press, paying for the correct voltage on the electrical outlet for those heat presses, there are a lot of things to pay for. And remember, the point at which I'm putting my flag in the ground for this video is a little bit past 6 months of really going at the company seriously and really pushing towards a launch. And if you guys follow me on social media, you might know that I just came back from the Philippines and I was there for a month doing a bunch of development and meeting with different vendors that I'm definitely going to use for product development in the US and also in the Philippines. So even though it was sort of vacation because I did have a ridiculous amount of fun, it was also work in development with Non-Beta. Also, because I'm using this video to keep score, I want to be very transparent in the progress of the company. So for marketing purposes, I want to say that with TikTok, we have a very disappointing number of 31 people following. And for Instagram, we only have 177 people following. If that's one of you, thank you guys for following. Also, a huge highlight, and this is a huge accomplishment for me and one of the visions and reasons I launched Non-Beta, I've done 2 collaborations. So one with Koncept, super accomplished dancer from Sacramento, and Zipitios in Florida. There was also a double collab with tacos and hip hop. And I'm super excited with all the other collabs that are just about to go out and people who have agreed to a collab. So there's going to be a lot more collabs dropping before the end of the year. So having said that, I want to break down 3 more things. One, my initial thoughts on that huge number of $7,000 of debt. Number 2, other factors that have contributed to that number and the non-movement of progress in some different areas of the company. And lastly, what I learned or what adjustments I'm making moving forward with Non-Beta. So the first thing I think of is for my viewers, anyone that consults with me who are very new at launching a brand. $7,000 with 6 months into the game might seem like a daunting amount of money. Now, I've made many videos before where I talk about launching a company with $500 feels nearly impossible to me, knowing how I would like to set my standards and being in the seat of creative director for different companies or at least apparel design and understanding how a big machine works when a company is making millions of dollars. So it leads me to 2 statements. Number 1, if you're new at this and didn't really have an idea of where you're going, I realize $7,000 feels like a ton of money to put out there without any real proof of concept for your brand this far. The second thought that comes to mind is I knew it would take a lot of money. Now I have a separate bank account that has funds allocated to continue to grow the company. So to be honest with you guys, I can go another $10,000 without showing proof of concept and I still feel extremely confident in the success of the brand. So all in all, that second commentary is I knew it would take a lot of money. Seeing that number is huge, but I feel really good about my progress in the company and I'm still building the foundation. And I think the other key is I still feel really good if I did have to drop another $10,000 to further build the brand awareness of the company and make it a successful clothing brand. All right, the second part I wanted to tackle in this video is there are other outside factors that contributes to the snowball of the debt and also me not hitting certain milestones in a quicker fashion. Number 1 is I have to keep up this this YouTube channel that you guys are watching. With 26,000 subscribers, I need to keep feeding the beast, and that goes along with all the different verticals of media that needs to happen surrounding all of these YouTube videos. It takes a lot of time, effort, and revenue to upkeep all of this and keep giving you guys content. Number two, you guys might not think of this, but I have a whole nother company, Clothing Brand Academy. CBA is my digital solutions, and that has its own marketing that needs to happen. It has its own product development that needs to happen, and that company came before non-beta, and it is always going to be a part of my focus. In fact, one of the big reasons I launched non-beta is because of this. I wanted to show you how ugly and how real, and later on the wins, right? All of that realness is part of me launching this journey of doing a clothing brand in real time so you can see what it looks like. This video is why I started non-beta, and that kind of goes with me being the clothing brand mentor and having CBA where I could give you guys better solutions. All of that to say, it takes time with both of those two entities. Those plates are already spinning, and I just added another one to the mix. Number two is production and building the foundation for non-beta. Is a behind the scenes that is painful, but really needs to have a good amount of focus, and it takes a lot of resource, time, research, right? So at the moment, I'm looking for a commercial space that's small enough and within budget, which is very difficult at this time, but I need to get that operation going where I could then hire someone else to take care of that production of the soft goods and take that completely off my plate so I can just focus on business development. So with the YouTube channel, CBA, doing all the blanks, creating all the designs, and then doing fulfillment and customer service. This is why I feel like non-beta hasn't progressed as fast as it could, because I'm keeping all of these entities spinning and working and moving. Now, that has less to do with the amount of debt I'm in for the company, but it's an important note to factor into the well-being or the mental health of someone who's launching a brand. Many of you guys will have a full-time job, or I suggest you keep your full-time job as you're trying to find proof of concept of your brand and go along that journey. And we have to keep these things in mind for our mental well-being to make sure we can stay strong and understand the ultimate focus in a long-term goal. It's crazy. So am I happy with 177 Instagram followers and 31 on TikTok? No, I'm not happy about that. And I know there needs to be a bigger focus on marketing, but everything stated and all the things I've told you gives you a more balanced picture of all the things I'm dealing with. So the most important things that are really gonna move the progress forward are things I'm knocking down now, and I'm super confident I'm gonna come around and get to those things sooner than later. But something that's more important than all of this is I'm having a good time while I'm doing it. I'm super excited about the collabs that are yet to come, and I know that all of the dollars that I spend, even if I have to spend 5,000 or 10,000 more before I see a consistent proof of concept or money in demand coming back into the company, I'm super confident that dollar for dollar it's going to win long term. So having said that, 3 takeaways from getting myself into this debt and in sort of the halfway mark of this year of launching non-beta, here are some thoughts that I think are takeaways. Number 1, this takes a lot of money and a lot of patience. So if you don't love fashion, if you don't love what you think the end of your brand is going to become, do not do this. It takes a lot of money, and the level of patience while you're burning some of that money is gonna make a lot of people quit at some different points in the journey. Number 2, and this is not a sponsored part of the video, but Metricool, which is a social media management application. You can pre-schedule your posts for all of your social media, and the first paid tier of Metricool includes 5 different brands. So I have Jon Phenom, like all of my persona and clothing brand mentor accounts. I have CBA and I have non-beta, and I still have 2 brands open. But let me tell you, this app has saved me, and there's a lot of competitors to it. I did my research, I did my due diligence, and I have been on Metricool for a little over a month now, and it saved me so much time. There's a couple little tweaks that had to happen with some of my posts, all part of the learning. But in terms of social media posting, which is a big area of focus for me and one I need to work on, this has come in like a huge game changer for me. And the third point I want to bring up is slow and thorough is going to win over time, over flashy and and quick. All of the Instagram content where people are just making $200,000 overnight, especially with fashion and apparel brands, I don't know what that picture really looks like. Now, there's a lot of different strategies for you to win, right? There's a lot of ways that you can produce apparel, and it's getting bigger and bigger as technology becomes a bigger factor in some of the traditional ways that we make clothing. But for me, slow and thorough, making the right decisions, prioritizing, and then executing is what's gonna win. So you're catching me in a window, in a moment where I'm still fighting, struggling, progressing, still putting the foundations together, but I wanted you guys to see what it looks like so you can see from the view of someone in real time that is rolling out a clothing line. And this is not part of the interview that anyone would highlight. There's no real success yet. There's no big dollar signs yet, but this is what it looks like for my journey. And later on, once it does pop and succeed, it'll be great to come back to this video and see where I was at 6 months into the process. If you want to see more of my wins and key adjustments along the journey, I'm gonna have the launch, which is in ridiculous detail, and really the key differences that make the difference as I launch non-beta. That'll be available on CBA. If you have questions, drop it all down below or hit me at this number, like and sub. See you guys on the next one. Peace.